Hey guys, so as promised, I have the impact of enlightenment. I'll make this short, sweet, and to the point for you, hopefully. Okay. So why do we talk about it? Why is it important? Well, probably one of the biggest ones is that enlightenment thinkers challenge the divine right of kings, that God gives them that right to rule, like we talked about, and they argue for liberty and rights. They also start to examine other principles like the union of church and state and the existence of unequal social classes. Okay, and they start to kind of look at them from under that lens of reason. And find them needing some reform. Okay, they also end up inspiring so many of the American and French revolutions, like the revolutions that are happening across the Atlantic. Okay, so this is kind of a big deal, and it also, of course, is a long-term effect of shaping Western civilization as we know it. In case you didn't figure that out from half the things that you probably already heard of before. Okay, so we have these salons, these discussion parties, these places where people would come together and start talking about these ideas, and we started having higher literacy rates, cheap printing, and that ends up helping spread those ideas across Europe. And that's been basically starting since the Renaissance, a few hundred years before this. Okay. These theories inspire a variety of new ideas on art, music, gender, economics, and government. Sorry, I have my sound on this part, but it's for a reason, okay? I swear. So this is kind of a big deal. We start to see an impact on art, like we have differences in our, from gave rise to this new idea called neoclassical art, and that was kind of more simple, elegant, kind of focused on some of our Greek styles with idealistic body poses and things like that. I don't want to go too in depth with that, but art, okay? Music as well. And I hope it works, we'll see, okay? But music composers, this creates this idea of classical music coming out of here. Yeah. So here's Franz Joseph, who has our first symphony. You've probably heard of Mozart, right? Another big piece is the impact of the Enlightenment on economics. I teach economics as well, so it's kind of a big deal. That laissez-faire, you're going to hear that a lot moving on through social studies, that hands-off economic system. And that was a Scottish professor, Adam Smith, who came up with that idea. And it leads to an economic system that we know and love very well in the United States, capitalism, right? And it really brings forth the idea of a free market economy. Capitalism is that idea of private ownership, and that with that property and with our ideas, we are able to make a profit. And laissez-faire means that the economy thrives when the government doesn't interfere with it. I literally think of a guy hands off, like he's backing up with his hands up in the air because of this idea of the government not getting involved. So we have a free market economy existing. He also comes up with the idea of supply and demand. I guarantee you'll get into this more in your economics class. But according to Adam Smith, price is determined by supply and demand. So whatever supply you have, there will eventually be the correct amount of demand, and we'll hit an equilibrium point here. Okay. It's through a lot of really complicated economic ideas, but I did tell you that I keep this short, sweet, to the point. So we're going to move along. Okay. Another big piece of the Enlightenment is the spreading of new ideas. This guy, who I swear looks so much like my dad, is actually a little freaky. It kind of looks like me too, because I look a lot like my dad. I did it like once standing up in front of the class. I was like, whoa, guys, that looks like my dad. Anyways, okay, that was a really dumb story, so I'm going to move on. During the Enlightenment, people throughout America and Europe start to study and read and kind of bring about their own philosophies on new ideas. And to kind of collect some of these new ideas and new things, we have the first encyclopedia being made. So if you like Wikipedia, which I know a lot of you do, this is the place to go from Diderot. Okay? The first encyclopedia had not only essays of things that were being found and new ideas, but also sketches on political, scientific, cultural ideas, new animals, all sorts of stuff. Okay? So that was kind of a big idea. It also started to spread the ideas of the Enlightenment and the Revolution. Okay? There was also a big impact on women. So most Europeans had a very traditional view of women as housewives and mothers, but definitely not equal to men. That's just normal for this time. Sorry about that. But the Enlightenment ideas inspire efforts to improve women's status or their place in life. Don't get me wrong, right to vote comes a lot later in both Great Britain and the United States, but still things start happening. Like Mary Wollstonecraft, who argues for more opportunities for education and professions for women. She writes many essays about it and actually gets some widespread attention. But probably the biggest impact is on our kings. Okay, the Enlightenment philosophies directly attack, if you're thinking about it, kings like Louis XIV and Peter the Great, kings that are all about the absolute monarchies. And this was mainly their idea, right? Their idea was we have to change the idea of like how are we supposed to be governed? Why are we governed in the way that we are governed, right? And the old idea, of course, was that monarch's rule is justified by divine right. The new idea is that a government's power comes from the consent of the governed. Most philosophers believed that the best form of government was a limited monarchy that respected the rights of the citizens and where that monarch is in control of protecting other people's rights. Okay? So, some powerful monarchs, known as enlightened despots, yeah, good one, listened to the new ideas and tried to at least improve the lives of their citizens through various things. So enlightened despots favored religious tolerance, tax reform, reduced government spending, and legal rights. In case you're wondering, like, what the heck, who is this guy? This is actually Louis XIV. And did you know, just total weird side fact, that the reason why they wore heels and, what do you call it, tights during these days, was because this was like the fashion. You know, like how like girls like ooh and ah over abs or arms or whatever the heck they do now. But this was the fashion. It was like calves. And so that's why guys wore heels and had on those tights, because the courtiers, you know, over in the palace are probably checking some guy out. They're like, oh, girl, you look at that guy's calves. Anyways, so, okay, I'm so sorry. I said short and sweet to the point. So we don't want to have this old idea popping forth. So there are some people who decide to take a little bit more interest in these ideas of protecting rights, like Frederick the Great of Prussia, who granted religious freedom, abolished the ideas of torture, and improved education across the great nation of Prussia. This time, that's actually where my family's from. Part of my family, I should say. Catherine the Great, who also frequently wrote to Voltaire, of all people, and she even considered protecting the rights of her citizens to some degree. Joseph II of Austria, he had freedom of speech and the press and religion, and even required peasants to be paid for their work. Gasp. Shocker. That was just basically abolishing the ideas of feudalism. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, as the Enlightenment spreads, like, citizens begin to question the authority of their kings, which in the end ends up resulting in revolutionary wars that break out in America, France, and Latin America for independence and liberty, which is where we are moving forward in this class. Okay? Woo! I'm telling you what, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, that was the Enlightenment. I hope that you learned something, and I can't wait to see what you guys say in your hands and your book rights. Thanks so much, you guys.